All right, welcome back. I am thrilled you're here. Today I'm going to go through for grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, some of my favorite resources that we use this year, some of my favorite curriculum that we use this year. And just in case you're wondering, it's pretty much all my favorite. The reason is that if it's not, I stop using it and I just move on. So I have a pretty good system going to get kids to learn a lot of stuff in a little bit of time. I don't know if anyone's interested in me explaining that, but I hope that they will be able to start taking college courses around age 12. But again, they'll be ready educationally. As to whether social emotionally they will be, I don't know. And that, if they're not, then I'm not going to make them. But that's just how we're progressing through the curriculum, because we've gone through 6 science curriculums this year. And we don't do activity books. We don't do a lot of that stuff, but we have started doing table work. We've started doing more table work. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about my favorite. So I have favorite Christian science curriculum is this. I haven't done the Berean brothers, though, out of all the science curriculums. But this is one of my favorite just because if you look at the text to picture ratio, that's very good and very easy for kids of a variety of ages and a variety of skills levels to get through. So we can read it during breakfast and then we review it once a week or periodically. I pick out the most important things. So again, the main thing here is you don't need a workbook for this. There are some questions at the end, and if we don't know the answers to those questions, then we just look back together through it. And I can teach during breakfast, lunch, or dinner if I wanted to, but that's usually when I read. But I have a very good, this is my absolute favorite secular curriculum. It is, I don't think they're making it anymore. So if you see it, I would grab it. You don't need the lab book. You don't need the instructor's manual. The teacher's manual is sufficient. If you want to do the experiments, well, then you get the other ones. But this is the Focus On series. So they also do building blocks by the same company. I have both. I like the Focus On series, but if you wanted to do a year by year by year, you could do the building blocks. But what this does is this is everything you need to know about, it's college age concepts that teach the children. So this is for grades K through 4. So anytime during them, this is a book for astronomy. There's a book for chemistry, physics, the 5 different areas. I haven't started those yet, but I'm excited to start them. So this is the one we just finished. And previously I would have told you that having done other astronomy curriculums, I would have said that it's not necessary. But I'm telling you, you learn a lot of stuff that I didn't see in all the space books we have. In space books, we do have a lot of. Again, it's got the summary down here, which is important. And it has the text to picture ratio is good. Again, you can read it during breakfast, during lunch. So even though it's not designed as a family subject, I do science as family subjects. I do a ton of things. I even do grammar and punctuation as a family subject. This is one of my favorite books this year because now I also do it though as an individual subject because we are going to start doing more table work. Next video, I will show you some books that I'm using for individual subjects. Of course, you could use this for individual subjects, but I just don't. So it's just grammar rules. Rule 5, the word I is always capitalized. So yeah, my kids are different levels. They're 2 years apart, 7 and 9. However, they're good for everyone. Either someone's reviewing it or someone's just learning it. So you can do it. So I go through it more than once. So we're talking about verbs in here. Now, first nouns, person, place, and thing. And my kids picked it up really easy. And when the youngest started screaming, I started coming up with sentences with Star Wars that they could pick out the nouns. But again, that's why there's no writing in it, because I do it orally. And then I do have quizzing and stuff. And I bought some quiz books actually because I want them to be able to write the ACTs. So I am going to start testing them, but not in a formal way. And the marks don't count. The grades does not matter. It's just the repetition of, can they just calmly fill in the little, not a Scantron sheet, but just to get them relaxed and calm about it so that it's not this like huge thing when they have to go to write it for college, right? So I picked up some books from that yesterday, which I don't think I brought them out of the car. At the Dollar Tree, they had some for the younger grades just to get them used to it. This is another one. This is Reading Pathways. Oh yeah, this was Grammar and Punctuation Level 1 by Evan Moore. This is Reading Pathways. So this is simple exercises to improve fluency. Again, all these things that I have in here, this is my bin where I pull out the books. I don't know if you can see it, but this is the bin where I pull out the books that we're reading through. And if it's, yeah. And then once we finish it, I toss it in a bin, I put another in. But I do sum up what we learn. And I was thinking of doing it on flashcards, but normally I just have it in a binder and we just once a week go through the binder, the main points we need. And you could do that all year. And then you have a record of all the main things that we learned all year. So fed Gus. Ben fed Gus. Ben fed Gus jam. Ben fed Gus red jam. So do you see how it does that? It's just to create fluency so that by the time you get down here, you could say it pretty quick. So that, I think that's an easy resource. It's also easy to read. A good easy to read system, I have a video on it, I'll attach it at the end, is Elemental Phonics. I love JDA's products. One of the products I have that I will show you tomorrow is, you can do a lot of her products for seat work, and one of them I'll show you tomorrow in tomorrow's video. So another one that I really love this year was Spot the Difference. So Spot the Difference, I got this from Five and Below for $5. And it's just got all the famous paintings and can you spot the differences. Now what I did, of course, I took it to the next level. So that's why it's not that good, is that because I want additional information besides the title of the picture, I wanted some general information. So for example, this is not a husband and wife. This is actually a father and a daughter. And there was an interesting story about it, which, you know, because I just would take the picture and copy some info and then read it to the kids. And then I was even thinking of putting this on a small little thing and on a flashcard to add to it, but I don't know. I don't necessarily know that I need to. But anyway, so we went through a few of these pictures and spot the difference. So yeah, what are the difference between the two? So it's kind of interactive in a way, if you will. Okay, primary mathematics. We started using another math system, which I told you in yesterday's video. So I'll attach that video at the end. It's not that we started using another one. It's that I want to do both because this I think is fabulous. So take a look at this. This is the workbook. This is for level 2. Starts in, well, level 1 is pretty basic. So, and then level 2 it starts, but like what I want you to see is how for ADHD kids, like look how it's not overwhelming. There's, you know, like exercise 1 is 1 page. So this is level 2. Level 1, which has A and B parts, and this is 2, A and B. You actually don't really need the home instructor's manual. It just has games in it and just additional information, but you don't need it. Oh, it does have the answers. But again, it's simple enough that you can just do it yourself. Like you don't need the answers per se. Yet, but we're getting close, if you ask me, to when we need it. Anyway, so yeah, so it's not overwhelming, pretty easy, pretty good. So anyway, I hope you tune in tomorrow to tomorrow's video, and I'm gonna film that right now for you. You know what? Actually, I decided to just include it now because my videos need to be over 8 minutes, so I am going to include it with this one, the individual subjects. So individual subjects are like table work. Table work are what we've started doing just because to improve concentration, to improve, you know, it's just time we sit at the table every day. So here is my schedule. I'll attach the video at the end, which was the same video from yesterday where I did the schedule. But take a look at this. So this is daily addition drills. So this is by JDA Learning Resources. I have a lot of her books. They're not expensive online. So we're going to start doing that. So just sit down, and then they have just a couple of books they have to go through, or a couple pages or stuff like that. So this is daily single digit addition drills, which have nothing to do with any math curriculum. It's just to get those numbers down, those basics down, right? And the next we have is easy grammar, grade 1 notebook. So we started this again. We had done a bit of it and I erased it, and then we're just doing it again. But here, this is day 3. So you see you have copy work down here. So you have some copy work, but at the same time, if you can write the sentence, you can write the sentence. And then it's got the capital letter. It's got the lesson of the day. It's got like the punctuation tip. So that's it, just a page a day. Mainly this is just, again, so we've proven concentration. You're sitting down. If you want, the way I did it to start my kids getting used to table work was I started off with, I brought a few crafts. One of them, yeah, I brought a few crafts to the table, and it was like, okay, for the youngest, all right, let's do this craft. And that's kind of how we started table work, right? And now it's going to be a thing where we kind of do it every day. So, and it doesn't take long. Like even with the table work, even with everything, it doesn't take a long time. And in the video I filmed yesterday, I talked about if kids don't want to do table time, how like natural consequences, which is not a punishment or anything like that. I talked about that in yesterday's video. But here is Iggy Peck's big project book for amazing architects. I have one that wants to be an architect and one that is very interested in engineering. So I always try to find resources about that. Sometimes it's easier said than done, but this one is pretty good so far. So this I do wish they had more pages, but I'm going to include some graph paper here so that we can do it on graph paper, because I have extra graph paper that has not been used from another idea I had that, you know, wasn't a winner. Okay, so take a look at this. So this is how it's equal, if you will, balanced, I think, and this is unbalanced. So to create, so sometimes to make it more dramatic or exciting, and to make it look, I don't know, more normal. But anyway, so it's got a lot of pages here. This was, I thought I got it on sale for $11.99. So we're actually going to start using a lot of these workbooks I have. I have so so many of different types of these, and some of them are great. Favorite things, imagine, ornamentation. So there is a free architecture course by the Michigan, which is actually the state I'm moving to in a couple weeks. And it has the Michigan Architecture Society gives out a free course for grades K through 5. So you have to search for it though. I did a whole video on it, but I haven't found the link in a while. But yeah, I would just search it. Kids Free Architecture Program, Michigan. See what comes up. Okay, use what you've got. And stuff like that. Anyway, so it's kind of cool. Real world problems. I don't know what these are here. I've only pinned off this page because like this is where we're gonna start. It's like that's what we'll do. That's what we're starting. Another way you can start too with table time is just whatever the kid's interested in. Pull out activities for that, right? Okay, so there. I hope that was interesting. I hope that helped, and I hope you tune back in.